Okay, we're going to talk about the difference in mortgage protection concepts. Now, here's what's important to know. Mortgage protection is a concept, it is not a product. So we need to look at the carriers that we write with and figure out which product we're going to use to write mortgage protection. Okay. Mortgage protection is a form of life insurance that's designed to pay the mortgage when someone passes away. So we're using life insurance for this. Okay, so none of our carriers really have something that's like called mortgage protection. We're using life insurance to protect a mortgage. Okay, that's important to understand. So let me share my screen and we're going to talk about what this means. So this is the document that you got this video from. So I just scrolled down a little bit, right? You found out who you were contracted with, you looked at that. Now we're going to decide, okay, we've got an appointment booked. Now we're going to do a risk assessment. What the heck do we do? So first thing is knowing what you're going to be writing. Is it going to be critical period or is it going to be a full payoff? Those are the two camps that we're looking at. How you decide is based off of, first of all, what's their age. If they're over the age of 65, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be writing critical period coverage because a full payout gets to be really, really expensive when you're over the age of 65. Another thing is if their health isn't the best. So if they've had cancer in the last couple years, if they've got, some chronic condition, if they've had a heart attack, if, they're diabetic with insulin, there's all sorts of things. And you use that SFG quotes tool, the underwriting cheat sheet to figure that out. But good rule of thumb, if they've got not the best health, you're going to be looking at critical period. Now, what we do with that is it's designed to help give the client enough time to pay their mortgage for a certain period of time. And in other words, their family enough time to pay their mortgage for a certain period of time. So what does that mean? That means that should John pass away, this is going to give Susie enough money to pay the mortgage for 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half, 2 years. It just depends on how much time they want. Now, when we're quoting, we have to use some reasoning to figure out what quotes are we going to present them because we don't want to scare them off with something that's going to be, $600 a month when that's not going to be in their budget. Their mind's going to turn off as soon as we show them that. So what I like to do is you're going to give 3 options as a quote for this one. You take the middle one and you make sure that that is within 10% of their mortgage payment. So let's say the client's mortgage payment is $1,000 a month. Your middle option should be about $100 a month. Okay, then you're gonna have one a little bit higher and one a little bit lower. So that's how you decide which one you're gonna do. So let's say your client is 65 and a little bit, a little bit on the less healthy side, had a heart attack a couple years ago. So we're going to look critical period coverage, both because they're over the age of 65 and because they don't have the best of health. So here's what we're going to do. Their mortgage is $1,000 a month. Let's look at what it would be to pay the mortgage every month for 9 months. So that would be $9,000. 1,000 a month by 9 is $9,000. We're going to look at a year, which is $12,000. And we're going to look at a year and a half, which is $18,000. Okay, so you just take their monthly payment, you multiply it by 9, 12, and 18, and those are the 3 quotes that you're going to run. Now, where do you go? So you want to make sure that they qualify, and you're going to use your cheat sheet, the underwriting cheat sheet on SFG quotes to go through and figure that out. So you're going to start with Mutual of Omaha Living Promise, and you're going to go on to sfgquotes.com. You're going to scroll all the way down and you're going to find your underwriting cheat sheet right here. And you're going to look at Mutual of Omaha Living Promise. So that's up here at the top. You're going to go Mutual of Omaha Living Promise, which is this one. And you're going to scroll down and you're going to look at all these ailments and make sure that your client will get approved. So if we look at heart attack, which this is just going to be a quick example, we won't do this for every carrier, but quick example, you're going to scroll all the way down, heart attack. I missed it. Heart attack. Here we go. So had a heart attack. Let's see, Living Promise. So if it was over 2 years ago, they'll get approved for Living Promise. If it was within 2 years, graded. Ideally, we don't want graded. So we want to look for another carrier that's going to be okay with it. Okay, so Living Promise, good if it was over 2 years ago. Scroll down. If it was less than 2 years ago, then we keep looking and see which carrier is going to be an option. So Americo Eagle Select is over a year. So that could be an option for us if it's within that time frame. Okay, so you're just going to use this document. You're going to start with Mutual of Omaha, see if all their conditions are good for this one. If not, you're going to move on down. American Amicable, It's good for all that. Yes or no? Okay, then move on down. You're just going to keep going down this list until you find the carrier that they're going to get approved for. Then you're going to quote the three options. So in this case, we did 9 months, 12 months, and a year and a half. So you run each of those options for, let's say, Mutual of Omaha Living Promise, and then boom, you're done. And you just do that by going back to SFG quotes, scrolling up to where you do Mutual of Omaha, and you put in the options here, the three options under Living Promise. So that's critical period concept. Now, if you're going to do a whole or a half payoff, then we're going to look at something a little bit different. So just understand that a full payoff is for folks that are healthier and or under the age of 65. Now, occasionally you're going to get a client over the age of 65 that wants a full payoff and they might qualify for it and they're willing to pay for it. Great. That's awesome. But that's not going to be the majority. That's going to be the rarity, right? The occasional. So do this as a good rule of thumb. So if they're younger, let's say they're in their 40s, pretty healthy, no major issues there, then we're thinking, okay, we're probably going to look at a full payout. Now, what I like to do with this is offer two options. I like to offer a full payout and a half payout. If you want to get fancy, you can do a full payout, a 3/4 payout, and a half payout if you want to. I like to keep it simple with those two. So this is what you'd look at for those. Mutual of Omaha, Term Life Express, American Amicable, Home Certainty, Americo, Term 100, etc. So these are going to be the products that we use to write those specific mortgage protection concepts. Okay. So you decide, all right, but same thing. You go back to your SFG quotes. You're going to look at your spreadsheet. You're going to look at Mutual of Omaha, Term Life Express, and you're going to see if they're going to qualify. If they do, great. You're going to go back here to Mutual of Omaha. You're going to run your quote. You're going to say, let's go to Term Life Express. Make sure it's Express. We do not write Term Life answers. And you're going to put in their state. You're going to put in their age, whatever. We go for the longest period of time possible. So if they qualify for the 30-year, great. If their mortgage is $300,000, that's what they write. Mutual of Omaha lets you write that much. So great. We're going to run a quote for that. And then for a half payout, we're going to run $150,000. And those are going to be your two options. You're going to write those quotes down, take them with you to your appointment. And it's as easy as that. So if they don't qualify for Mutual of Omaha, you're going to go back to your page, look at American Amicable, see if that's going to work for them. If that's a no-go, then you're going to look at Term 100 with Americo. If that works, great. Then you're going to go run a quote, and then you're going to go pull up the e-app and get ready for your appointment.